Good morning, everybody. It's Barb Katie here. It's pretty cold in West Virginia today, as the picture behind me illustrates. That's just one of the outcroppings of rocks on the mountains where I get a chance to walk. And there's a little creek that runs down underneath the outcropping, and last week, the icicles were just spectacular there when I was walking, so I took the opportunity, since it was so pretty, to take a few pictures of it, and this one really caught my fancy. And I've taken several pictures of this particular place before, and it's one of my favorite things to enjoy throughout every single season. It's always changing. So be that as it may, as we start off this new week for me, I'll be heading out to my chapter after I'm through visiting with all of you. And it's a new year that's underway. I thought it would be helpful to do some exercises every week, not physical exercises. Those are very important, and many of you share what you're doing on a regular basis, which I just love to learn about. I know one of the ones that fascinated me was the series of videos some of you have been sharing from our partner organizations. And in fact, we're going to have a TOPS talk on being able to exercise at whatever fitness level you find yourself. Later on this month. It was featured in TOPS News, and it's on our website now. So hopefully you'll give that a check, because we can all move something. This is one of my favorite things that my kids used to do, when they would say, "Are you exercising?" And they would take their index finger and go like this, say, "Yes, Mom, I'm exercising." And I'm sure you've had things like that happen as well. But staying active is a very important process involved in living a full active life. That's really not what I want to talk about, though. What I want to talk about is what you want to talk about. And so I thought what we would do during this month is begin collecting topics that you would like to discuss, just as a way of engaging in conversation every week when we're together. All that I need is your input. Otherwise, I'm just going to sit here and talk about my grandchildren, and my children, and my nieces, and my nephews, and how the weather is, and do you think if the rain will hurt the rhubarb? You need to send to me in the message section, please, of this conversation as a starter, or you can private message me if you would rather, a topic you would like to discuss. Just a single topic, no more than 5 words, like I would like to talk about quick meals. I would like to discuss how not to let my feelings get the better of me. All these things that we have questions about, and we don't always think of discussing them and getting ideas from each other. One of the reasons I want to do this is because very often in a chapter, this can be the most important part of the meeting, the discussion of a topic among all the members. And the way we choose those topics is just what is of interest to us. So I'm going to get out a big jar that used to hold pickles, my pickle jar, and I'm going to cut slips of paper and put your topics on them and fold them up and drop them in the jar. And then for a while, maybe every other week, we'll begin pulling topics out of the jar and see how it goes when we discuss a topic of particular interest to one of us for that week's message. Uh, these don't take a lot of advanced preparation. You actually draw it out in real time and then weigh in on the topic and share ideas associated with it. Um, we'll also be doing a few other different things that rely on you to contribute to what we're doing every week, because this is our time together. It's just not me sharing my particular feelings with you. I'm pretty good at doing that usually, but sometimes I wonder if you have things you would really like to discuss that relate more personally to you. Uh, and maybe the reason I feel that way today has to do with Rick's message last week on frustration, because that hit a very resonant chord with me. And it was illustrated this morning as I was checking out the official TOPS Facebook page and reading through some of the comments people were making to different features on the page. And I came across on the page a feature that really grabbed me. You know, all the wonderful transformation pictures and pictures of winners from different areas all around Tops Nation that are posted all the time. I was reading through one of them, and 99% of the comments on these are really supportive, encouraging, congratulatory, praising, uplifting, and isn't it true that the one thing that is super critical is the one that really grabs you? It's like, ooh, ouch, that pricked. My goodness gracious. Why did that person decide to say that? What was it that motivated them to be so judgmental and so critical of somebody else's journey? Because our journey is always personal. And this was a very, a very long piece from an individual who had been in TOPS at one point in time, definitely quite some time ago, because I checked to see who this person might be and where this person might be from. Not that it really mattered all that much, but I was curious because this person really sat in judgment of someone who had been so successful. And, one of the things that she commented on was the eating pattern of the individual. And this particular individual had shared in their story that the pathway she had chosen was focused more on 2 meals a day. For whatever reason, with the doctor's approval, with the doctor's support. I'm not saying it's good, bad, or indifferent. Who am I to judge what an individual and the individual's doctor may have chosen as an effective weight management tool for that person, given all of the parameters in which that person's life functioned. That was the technique, and this individual had called that person out in a critical fashion and called it intermittent fasting, which is a very popular buzzword right now. I would suggest to you, by definition, almost all of us, I'd even say all of us to a degree, do some type of fasting. We go to bed, we go to sleep, we get up and at some point in time, we have something to eat again. That period of time in which we are not eating is a fasting period of whatever degree, of whatever range. It is, in fact, a fasting period. You're choosing to let your body rest from the processing of food for your nutrition and good health. But in fact, it is a type of fasting. So that was number one. And I thought, well, who are you to judge? And then she said, well, if I had the willpower to eat 2 meals a day with zero snacking, I'd lose weight too. Not necessarily true. If you're chowing down pretty hard, you need a heck of a lot of food in 2 meals, regardless of whether you snack or not. And the food does not have to be sensible, does not have to be healthy, but it was a way of this individual stating the issues that she deals with in food. For her, and there is no right or wrong. And I guess this is the thing that really resonated with me is there is no right or wrong as long as your health is your primary concern when it comes to the way you arrange the food that you're going to enjoy that day. Does it drive to your need? Does it drive to your intent? Does it fulfill the needs of your body? You work with your doctor and you make choices. And this individual indicated that one of her particular challenges is the tendency to binge eating if she waits too long. And that's very important to know about yourself, the self-awareness of what will work for you and what will not work for you. But it doesn't apply to every single individual. We are unique in our journeys, in our likes and our dislikes, in our abilities, in our disabilities, in our challenges, in our obstacles. We are unique. Also, we are unique in the way we measure what is a success. Now, everybody measures successes as a number on a scale. I remember once being asked, well, it was by someone that a lot of you have read about, and if you have real life, the guide that we use to help us guide our journey for losing weight sensibly. You've read chapters written by this individual, Dr. Michelle May. And she and I were meeting when we were doing a presentation together. And she said, Barbara, if you had your choice, what would you want for the Tops family? What is your vision? And I thought for a little bit, and I thought, I would like all of us to have peace with the food we eat and the activities we enjoy. I would really like people to be at peace, to not feel as if we must fight against something, that we can find our own path that helps each of us individually achieve our best health. That's what I'd like to see for everybody. And so I think that's why this message on the page hit me so hard, because all of us have different issues, different needs, different challenges to meet. Some of the things that were mentioned by the individual sharing their personal journey in a somewhat argumentative way, but actually it was factual for that individual, was difficulty with sugar. There are some of us that tend to be, for lack of a better word, addicted to sugar. Once you have a taste of it, you want more. Um, I've participated very often in panels where we talked about addiction, and sugar addiction would come up. In my former life, I taught at the university, and one of the things that we would talk about on these addiction panels was most of the time when you have that type of personality or that pull on your system, as you deal with one area, it may be replaced by another area. You're actually substituting addictions one for another as you go through. And we would discuss addiction to drugs, addiction to medications, addiction to alcohol, addictions even to sugar. And as we would talk through them, and they would say, well, I gave up this, and then I started having trouble with this, and I gave up this, and I started having trouble with this. And I said, what we are doing is replacing coping mechanisms for something else that is a problem. And it's our way of coping that's changing, not dealing with the core problem. Which is at some point what you need to do. And I would hesitate to say, but will just put forward a position statement that if you keep substituting and all you are left with is eating, and we all know we have to eat to live. It's not like a lot of other things. Like you can quit smoking, you can quit drinking, you can quit doing drugs without any dreadful physiological long-term effects. You can still live, is what I'm trying to say, if you quit these addictions. Doesn't mean it isn't a struggle, it isn't a challenge. Sometimes withdrawals have to be managed in a safe manner depending on what the problem is. But when it comes to food, all of us have to eat. That's never going to change. We're going to have to eat. So it's often at that level that you have to look at what is driving that action. What is it you need to look at and try to resolve to move forward and to free yourself from its power and to get peace with yourself and with whatever this issue is. So that was an area I looked at as she was writing. Like I said, I was pretty frustrated and a little irritated even. And then another thing that was mentioned was ADHD, and that so many people deal with ADHD on a regular basis, which is very frustrating. It causes procrastination. You don't always manage time well. Sometimes in your meltdown process, you go to food as, again, a coping technique for it. And that very often in your frustration, you may go to quick, handy, satisfying foods rather than take the time to prepare something that you know is healthy. And for some people I know, home prepared foods can be a real challenge when your life, well, we used to use the expression in my family, when your plate of life is full and overflowing. A drive through McDonald's sometimes sounds like the good idea, and it may or may not be at that time. You have to make that decision. Anyway, enough said. about overlaying your struggles on the path another person chose and being critical of their path because it does not meet your needs. And so I guess what I had hoped was what 99% of the comments were in that thread for that particular conversation on our Facebook page was an insight into your personal self and an ability to see that we are indeed unique and we need to support the path that is working to help each other get as healthy as we can, to manage our weight effectively, to live an active, happy life, and support that path that we have worked out with our own healthcare professionals, and not to insist that if somebody doesn't do it the way it works best for me, that that person is wrong and may not achieve ultimate success. There are no guarantees in a journey managing a chronic disease like this. Excuse me. There are going to be stops and starts and steps along the way. You remember when I was talking about success one day a while ago, I had that long squiggly line about what it really looks like instead of the straight line from where I started to where I want to be. And so it is. This is a learning process, and it's usually a lifetime learning process because there's so many factors that are involved in it. Thank you for being the tolerant, considerate, supportive people that you are, for not allowing people to enable bad behaviors, but supporting their steps toward living their best life by their definition, not by your personal definition. I'm going to get off my soapbox now because I think I've addressed that issue as much, and I feel really good about just expressing my feelings about being supportive and encouraging of someone who has found a pathway that is for them working quite well. Hopefully, this is going to be a pathway for whoever the individual is that is going to be sustainable in real time for a lifetime, because that's what we're looking to do. So I'm going to get off here and get on with my busy day. I know you have a busy day ahead too. The snow's melted pretty much off the ground and it's safe to travel about, and I have a bunch of errands to accomplish as well as other things on my agenda today. But thank you for spending time with us. Thank you for helping each other so generously and compassionately, and for walking a mile in each other's shoes. I appreciate you, and you have a great day. Talk to you later.